Good morning, Mayor, council members. The last time I was here before you, I rose in opposition to this council's approval of a 380 contract that would reimburse the Ainbinder Development Company for infrastructure improvements in and around the planned retail development at Yale and Kohler Street, which is commonly referred to in the media as the Heights Walmart. This council's approval of that agreement was only the beginning of the process of making that big box development in our urban core a reality. We have reached the next stage of the process. The Ainbinder Company submitted a self-financed traffic impact analysis to the city's engineering department in mid-December of last year. The department's approval of this study, which measures the impact of the planned development on neighborhood traffic flow, will allow the general permitting process for the project to begin. The study is still under review. Responsible Urban Development for Houston, a nonprofit group of which I am affiliated, obtained a copy of the study the Thursday before last, and we have spent many late nights analyzing its methods and conclusions to see how we would be impacted by Ainbinder's plans. We have also completed a preliminary traffic study of our own, which we hope to make final soon after an information gathering meeting with the engineering department, a meeting, by the way, that our neighborhood's councilman, Mr. Gonzalez, has promised to set up for us. The report in almost every respect confirms everything our group and numerous other concerned citizens have already said about the traffic in and around the future development. Street intersections in the study are given grades like in school, A through F, A being the best traffic, F being the worst. In the final analysis, the study concludes, out of all the signalized intersections looked at, there will be 1 F, 5 Ds, and 10 Cs in the intersections during the peak AM and PM traffic hours. The F and 2 of the Ds include the important intersections of Interstate 10 and Yale. Furthermore, and of the utmost importance, the Ainbinder submitted study fails to take into account that the Yale Street Bridge that runs across White Oak Bayou very near the development is a load-zoned bridge. 40,000 pounds is the weight limit of that bridge, yet this is the most likely route 18-wheeler trucks would need to take to restock the big box anchor that is planned for the area. Yes, there are other longer routes that could be taken, but such routes would take the big rigs through residential streets like Bass or down Washington Avenue for long stretches, which has little such 18-wheeler traffic. There are serious problems with the traffic impact study submitted to the engineering department by Ainbinder. We would like our meeting to discuss these important issues with the engineering department.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Mr. Jackson, thank you and the rest of RUDH for your efforts and for being here today. Just to give a quick update, as you stated, the process is under review. I've communicated with Public Works. They are submitting their own comments and suggestions and concerns about the TIA, the traffic impact analysis. They've reviewed some of the concerns that were provided by your group, of which we've submitted those answers to you. Some of them dealt with stormwater and retention and detention, so that's kind of a separate process. The first phase, as you stated, is the traffic issues. They're aware of the concerns about the truck capacity on the bridge. There's a lot of mitigation that could occur, including perhaps allowing the Walmart development or the development to use smaller trucks if need be. So there's a lot of possibilities. I've submitted the request for them to visit with you and explain some of the process, to listen to the concerns, especially those that pertain to technical aspects that they could then submit as well to the developer. And the developer is also, or should be available to try to answer questions as well, because they generated the traffic impact study. So it's an ongoing process. I'm waiting to get back confirmation on the date for a visit/meeting. Other council members around the horn here have also expressed interest and have advocated and have also contacted Public Works. So you have some strong representation in terms of making sure that we're listening to community concerns. I commit to you that I'll continue to be a watchdog over this, making sure that there are no shortcuts in this process, that everything does comply with code that currently exists, and that if there are technical concerns or things that we need to be addressing with Public Works, we'll be glad to continue to bring that to the table.
Thank you very much. And I'd like just to make clear, we want development, but we want development that is to scale and won't make the traffic in our neighborhood disastrous.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Reed. Ms. Reed will be followed by Mr. Jonathan C.C. Day.
Good morning, Mayor Parker and members of council. Before I make my comments, I want to just say how very inspired I am by the report from Solid Waste Management. I wish every Houstonian could hear that. It's a real example of best practices, and it's something that we owe you all a great debt of thanks for. It's excellent management and great performance by Solid Waste, and I can't wait to get my big green container. I hope I'm on the next list. So thank you all so much, and please convey our thanks to Director Hayes, everybody in our neighborhood. It's just great. My name is Eileen Crowley-Reed. I've been here before. I live in the Heights, and I'm here on behalf of Responsible Urban Development for Houston. As you know, we're a nonprofit organization devoted to preserving the character, traditions, and appearance of Houston's Washington Avenue corridor and the Greater Heights area. My comments today do pertain to the same thing you were just talking about, Councilmember. We would like very much to have a work session with the Department of Public Works and Engineering prior to any approval of the traffic impact analysis submitted by the developer. We have, as Mr. Jackson said, worked very hard to create our own traffic study, but we don't have all the Kinley-Horn information yet. It's been very hard to get information, and we need to sit down and have a technical meeting with the proper people at the city. And although drainage is a separate issue, Councilmember, as I said to Councilmember Costello earlier today, we remain very concerned about how the drainage situation is going to play out there. Council members Noriega, Jones, and Lovell have all so far indicated interest in participating, and if others of you would like to be at that meeting, we'd very much like for you to join us. We can use everybody's best wisdom on this. Secondly, we wanted to make you aware that Responsible Urban Development for Houston will be conducting a public meeting on this topic this coming Wednesday, January 26th at 6:30 at the Council on Drugs and Alcoholism, and we will contact all of your offices after this meeting to see if some of you would like to come. We would very much like to have Mayor Parker, you and your staff, as well as interested members of council there to discuss these matters with the public, to provide information and to answer questions. You'd be very, very welcome to be there with us. It's not too late, we believe, for the council and the city to offer the same protection to members of the Washington Avenue corridor in the Greater Heights area that you offered to residents of West University when the Ashby High-Rise project became a potential traffic nightmare. Really, any neighborhood in Houston facing traffic and gridlock like the one we're facing has a right to expect, we believe, an opportunity for good, solid communication with the city and dialogue about how these problems can be reduced or eliminated before any studies are approved. So we would respectfully ask you to dialogue with us, with the staff, Councilmember Gonzalez, as soon as possible, hopefully before our meeting this coming Wednesday. And we would very much like to urge any of you that can come to attend, and we'll be contacting your offices with more details. Councilor Noriega.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to take a second and thank Councilmember Lovell for taking time and visiting with this group when they were in my office. And I want to thank Councilmember Gonzalez for taking the lead on this and making sure that this meeting happens. I just want to kind of go on record saying I really am concerned about the bridges. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a structural expert of any kind, but I think anytime you've got a bridge that the capacity is half that of a large 18-wheeler, and the thing between that 18-wheeler and the bridge is a sign that it's a concern. We have signs that have height determinations on the freeway, and periodically somebody gets stuck under the freeway because they don't read the signs and they don't do what's required. And so I really am concerned about the antique bridges there at Yale and Heights and the access to the store. And my understanding is that it's possible to reduce the weight loads and use smaller trucks and break up orders and shipments and that kind of thing. But all it takes is one knucklehead to roll onto a bridge. And it may be that the capacity is far greater than we realize, and it's not an issue, but I'm a layperson, and I don't know that. And so I want to go on record speaking to that specifically and tell you that I'm concerned that we have bridges that have diminished capacity going to this site, and we really do need to pay attention to this. And I really don't expect an answer or dealing with it. I just want somebody to address this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ms. Reed, for coming. I will say that I am trying to be helpful. I'm trying to get the questions answered for you that you would like.
I appreciate that.
I've been working with Councilmember Gonzalez in this, but I have been thinking a lot because I was watching the news last night or night before last, and I saw a community organization. I want to say they were called Upper Kirby, and they were complaining about the new development in that area and how their crime has gone up or this or that or whatever, and the increased traffic. And sometimes, depending on what your vantage point is, either the glass is half full or it's half empty, or either it's progress or it's not progress. Mm-hmm. So there's the argument, well, there's economic development, there's more taxes, and then there's, well, I used to walk down the street, with my grandchildren, and I used to have peace and solitude, and now I don't, and now it's more dangerous. So there aren't any clear-cut answers. I absolutely have your concerns. One of the ones I have is the same as Councilmember Noriega just brought up, but it's really not that simple, because what is progress to some, as I said before, is diminished quality of life for others. So I hope we look at that. We don't have zoning, so I've heard a gajillion times that we can't go back on that, but I don't know what the objective criteria is as we make these decisions, but I certainly believe that there should be objective criteria so that regardless of what we do as a city, that it has the same impact in certain neighborhoods as it does
Absolutely.
in the others.
Absolutely.
So for what that's worth, is something that I'm certain we'll be talking about for a long time, but it's super complicated. But again, I am trying to get you the answers, because it's hard for you to do what you need to do, because we have not been as forthcoming with your organization about getting those answers. And I'd like to thank Councilmember Gonzalez for, I think, dealing admirably with a very contentious issue.
Thank you so much, Councilman. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Costello.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Reed, thank you very much for being here today, and appreciate all the work that you all do in your organization. Could you share with me, do you have professional services working with you all as far as evaluating traffic?
We have a traffic engineer working with us.
Could you share that person's name with me?
Not without checking with the group, but I'll be happy to do that and come back to you.
Is he a private individual, or is he representing a firm?
Pardon me?
Is he representing an engineering firm, or is he just a private individual?
It's a private individual.
Could you share with that and then get back to my office, please?
I'll talk to my group about it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.